Hey, 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 welcome into another episode of Halos in the Infield with your host, Todd Fox, and the other two co hosts,
Hi guys, it's Courtney.
Hi
Courtney and
guys, it's Fernando from Chicago,
there you go, live from Chicago.
the
So,
land of cow wallpaper.
It's
in every
Cal.
hotel. It's what?
It's Cal Print.
Oh, yeah, there you
Cow print.
go.
Stylish. Hipsters love cows.
That's how we do it. That's how he does it. So, we are here on a Sunday evening. Going to get into a lot of things on the show. We're going to get into the baseball, obviously, with the Angels playing Cleveland Indians. And we're going to go over how great of a series that was. And then we're going to get into the following series. But first, we're going to give you a quick shout out. Fujin Ramen and Jason Santos, who owns both of these franchises, we're going to give shout outs to. Very good ramen if you're in the area of Glendora, or not Glendora, West Covina, I'm sorry, off of Glendora Avenue, 1017 South Glendora Avenue. Very good ramen. And also his sister restaurant, Zumo Sushi Burrito. If you've never had a sushi burrito, you have to try the El Dorado. That is one of the best burritos out there at 1404 North Azusa Avenue, Covina, California, 91722. They're within a couple miles of each other, so just check it out. They're really good food. They support the show. So we're also going to give a shout out to Rad Beer real quick. That's in Fullerton. Great distillery, not too far from the stadium if you want to check them out as well. That's us helping local business and them helping us out as well. So let's get started. Who wants to go first on this Cleveland series, or any opening comments in general?
Trash.
Yeah, there it is.
Trash. We're done. I mean,
Can I get my Courtney impression real quick? Impersonation?
Yes.
go.
Trash. We're trash. We're trash.
We are trash. So we got swept, and then we couldn't even put up one run today. Like
Mhm.
we could. It was 3-0. We got our ass handed to us in front of 12-year-olds and their
That's-
families.
Made kids cry.
Yeah, exactly. So
They were literally chanting Otani's name.
Yeah, I mean, you had Otani and Trout be out there signing a few autographs, and that was what you guys predicted. What they
Yeah.
should have did for the game, and that's good and everything. But for a Sunday game, and they're representing the Angels, it's like, okay, forget what they did the prior first two games. That was in Cleveland, whatever. But like Courtney said, 0 runs. They had 4 more hits. That's it. They had bases loaded 3 times or twice, and first and third, and couldn't score anything. It's the age old thing where they just aren't doing the little things to win games.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. And I know we've kind of said this multiple times on this network. Just not being productive, not being productive when we need them to. And I think today was just kind of hurt twice as bad just because, it was the little league, the little league game. So that really sucks. But I mean, what else do we expect from this team at this point? I mean, why did we honestly sit there and be like, yeah, we're gonna have hope? Like, and I'm sorry, Rally Chris, but no, it did not work today. So it's
She
just
said it.
come at me. But it sucks. I know, right? Ooh, starting something. But yeah, I mean,
Fighting words. Fighting
Look
words.
at him egging it
fighting
on.
words,
So fight.
fight club. I'm just kidding.
What do you
Yeah.
think, Fernando? What did you think of this series in general?
I think the fat lady is singing.
Mm.
I think it's finally time. Not only did she clear her throat, she's about to throw some Britney Spears in that bitch, and she's going.
No.
I don't think. I think it's time, man. We've been making excuses for this team all year, and the thing that makes me the most upset is until we're mathematically eliminated, there'll always be those people who are like, there's still a chance, there's still a chance. And in theory, there is a chance, but this team keeps playing themselves out of contention. There is no reason that we should have had close games against the Tigers. There is no reason we should have had the comeback we had against the Tigers. There's no reason we should have this situation that we get swept by a 500 team, the Cleveland Indians. Yes, are we a 500 team as well? Yeah, I get it. We are. But not right now where we currently stand, but we will be in, a couple of days. Just wait till we sweep Baltimore. Just to, hey, get us to that point yet again. I'm just tired of it. It's old. It's you're just playing out the season at this point. That's what Artie likes to do, play out the season. Unfortunately, he's not going to hit his little 3 million mark yet again, primarily because of COVID. But, hey, that's all he cares about with his little mustache, getting the 3 M's.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it just sucks, honestly. Like I mean, I know I've kind of been out of it this whole time, but I mean, this was probably just the icing on the cake today. I was just like, ooh, I was like, 0 runs in front of all these people. Okay, yeah, this is it. And I think my mom, so I'm gonna bring my mom into this. My mom had a hot take today. She, so it was the Little League game. We had Trout out there. I think even Dexter Fowler, he came out today too. So we had a lot of people come out signing the autographs, everything. And then she kind of said, she's like, wouldn't it be funny if they just shut down Mike Trout tomorrow? Because he did the autographs and already, and all of a sudden Monday or Tuesday we just shut him down. And I was just like, oh, I was like, all right. I was like, that might, I mean, he did his job. He brought the kids out. He signed the balls, and then all right, now we're just gonna shut him down. And I was like, all right, Mom. I was like, good hot take. I like it. Like, so do you guys maybe feel the same way? Let's discuss.
I tend to think so, because there's only 36 games left after today. I don't see the point of bringing him back. There really isn't. Fernando?
Yeah, I think Jeff Fletcher had come up with like a tiered list as to why he's going to come back. The biggest reason is like, well, the Angels pay him to play. Yes, but the Angels also pay him to not get hurt. The Angels pay Mike Trout to be healthy. Right now, you are not paying for a healthy Mike Trout, and I don't know, man. We're seeing a Mike Trout that hasn't been healthy in a long time. And what's frustrating to me is, I travel with my boss a lot. I was with him the last week, and all he ever tells me is, why, he's been saying this for like 2 years now, why do the Angels still have Mike Trout? And I've had an argument constantly. I've had the ability to tell him why we still have Mike Trout, but you know what? I'm sorry, my phone keeps connecting here. I don't know if I still have the answer. We're in a situation this year where we think to ourselves, maybe life after Trout exists. Maybe we need to find somebody to take this contract. And I never thought I'd be in a situation where I fed into the negativity that Mike Trout might not be the answer, especially after we signed into a lifelong contract. But guys, I don't know. Does life after Trout exist? Do we need to consider getting rid of him? Is he hurting us more than he's helping us? Guys, he hasn't been healthy since 2016? Last year didn't count.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, but then I'm not, because then on one hand I see your point. Like, maybe there would be a time to move on if he's continuing this next year with the injury. Then yeah, I mean, you have to pull the trigger. But then what do you get back for him? I just don't think what we get back for him will pay off. You know what I mean? So it's going to cripple the franchise in one way. It's going to kill the fandom. You're putting everything on Shohei, and yes, maybe you would have said, okay, before the break, I could see Shohei taking over the franchise if worse came to worse. But after the All-Star break, what's his home run take at right now?
Yeah, he's struggling.
Didn't he have 34 at the break or something like that? I forget what he had.
It was something like that.
He's got 40 now. He's only hit 6 since the break. So that was everyone's worst nightmare, and look what has happened. His whole swing's changed. So I mean, as far as your the Trout thing, I could see your take on it, and I could see also it not happening.
Let me get one thing straight before I let Courtney go. I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
I don't want us to live without Mike Trout. All I'm saying is now we're in a situation where if we would have had a crystal ball back in 2016, when all these losers from Barstool Sports and all these losers from ESPN were saying, "Oh, the Angels didn't trade Mike Trout; they're wasting him," and we were sitting here fighting on social media, fighting on all these podcast networks, telling people, "No, this is our guy." If I would have had a crystal ball back then, maybe I would have said, "You know what? Maybe we should trade him." And that's the thing that hurts me. Knowing that, we've been having this argument for years. We've been fighting this battle. Was it worth it? I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping this ends with jubilation because he brought us a championship. But as of right now, it is hard to see that being the case.
Mhm.
Courtney, go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, I definitely see your point, and I'm definitely not against it because I know I was kind of saying the same thing. It's just like, he has been hurt, what was it a few years ago? I think it was like his thumb. That's why he has to wear his little glove
I
now.
think that started it, right? 2017.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really what started it. Now he has to wear a glove when he runs, and then now I think this has basically been the longest injury that he's had for a long duration of time. Um, I I'm not ready to say like, oh, like should somebody else take this contract? Should we trade him? And I think Todd kind of said it. What do we get in return for that? Like what player is honestly worth that return? And
Well, go ahead.
I want to see a hopefully healthy Mike Trout with now a healthy Shohei Ohtani. I genuinely still believe that if we have just these two guys alone, as well as other people in our lineup, we have potential to be something great. It just sucks that it seemed like everything kind of hit us all at once this year. Rendon was sitting there patching up his vagina and his hip, and Upton's been in and out. Fowler, at the beginning, we've just kind of had that injury after injury after injury, and then Trout's was just the icing on the cake, and it was just like, wow, okay. So I definitely at least want to have a chance to have a potentially or a fully healthy season, or at least somewhat fully healthy season with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani together, because we still haven't seen that yet.
Agreed. I think I agree with Courtney right there. A lot depends on the health wise and who they bring in to help out in that lineup. We've talked about it before, but again, like she said, like if the Angels can put together at least 1 year of them, then we could see, with a young pitching, with a hitting together, if this team is going to indeed go somewhere, if it's on the rise to make a bigger push the following year, then maybe you say, okay, the Trout experience is going to continue. But if it's not, we're in an Alex Rodriguez type love, because I was trying to think of who they traded Alex Rodriguez to the Yankees for, because when he traded, he didn't go as a free agent, right? From Texas.
But he did.
Well, he did go as a free agent.
Let me see.
Because what the thing I'm thinking of is I'll have to look up. Hold on. I want to see what they got from him if it was a trade. I know he left to free agency to Texas from Seattle, but I would think Alex's numbers were comparable to what Trout was putting up, as far as maybe not the WAR, but the home runs and stuff like that. Let me see here. Checking this out.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Okay, so he was traded to the Yankees with cash for Alfonso Soriano and a player to be named later, which was Joaquin Arias. So Texas didn't get much back for him, and that
was a salary dump.
Yeah, it was a salary dump. But see, at the time, Rodriguez was still in his prime. That was 2004. So he had some pretty good years with the Yankees after that. Is that something that the Angels are going to get screwed on too?
Well, you guys both said, like, what did we really get for Trout? I mean, one of the biggest things we get is, remember he has roughly 9 years left in his contract. He's getting paid $37.1 million every single one of those years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money you're freeing up. $37 million is enough to get 5 to 6 players, if not more.
That can get us like 3 Julio Teherans a year.
There you go. Sounds like wins to me. No. Like I told you guys, I want to make it very clear to our listeners that I do not want to trade Mike Trout. All I am saying is now we open up the conversation to that, because it's just something we at least need to open up our mind to, because the guy behind you with the microphone and the headphones is going to be like, oh, here's Mike Trout. He's our guy. But, Mike Trout is our guy. But at the end of the day, we're going to be in a situation now where we have Rendon locked up for 5 more years. We have Trout locked up for, seemingly the rest of his contract or his life as an Angel baseball player. And now you're going to have Shohei Ohtani, a free agent, not after next year, not after the year after that, but 2024. We're not going to be able to afford all 3 of those guys. Plus, Artie's going to go out there and get a big shortstop. We're not stupid.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We're going to go out there and get an unnecessary shortstop. So we can't do it all, guys.
No, we definitely can't. And I mean, so we bring up the topic or the idea of, freeing up basically Trout's 37 million. Of course, I'm not for this. Don't come for me. But now we're talking, what do we get in return for Trout and that money? You said potentially putting together 5 or 6 players. Now this almost sounds like a money ball game. Like we're sitting here creating or trying to take players that will basically add up to a Mike Trout. Hopefully 3 or 4 players add up to those numbers. Which is fine. I don't mind doing it. But I mean, hopefully it never comes to that. I like Trout.
Yeah, I do too. I wanted him to finish his career here, but I also like Fernando said, he wants them, and so do you, Courtney, to win a World Series here. So we'd want that to pay off. In the end, we'd say, hey, you know what? It was a rough few years with Trout, and he didn't get to where he wanted to. But hey, look at it. He got us another title or 2. And I think that's what would legitimize his career if he got 2 titles, especially with us. Yep. And one's not. I don't think one's good enough. I think they could build, but then you guys are talking money. And long term, our pitching staff, as it's constructed right now, is really young, but under control. At some point, we're going to have to pay for these pitchers or they're going to walk. So if that's the case, we're going to hold on to Trout. We're going to need some damn good scouts. So you're going to have to pay into the scouting department so that we can keep replenishing if we lose a pitcher or 2. And then as far as if we were to even entertain the idea of trading Trout, I think another scenario that would likely happen, which would suck, but it'd be a way to get some decent players back in return and also not pay the 37 would be say, for instance, we traded him, but according to the contract, we pay 12 of the 37. So the other team only is on the hook for 25 and we can get some better prospects back, but we're still paying for him. You know what I mean? It would suck, yeah. But I think that'd be the only way. Cause like Courtney said, 37 is a huge chunk to have someone take on. I think that was already bidding against himself.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's maybe a 10% chance this actually happens. I just wanted to open up the book for conversation and hey, clickbait. Yeah. So
no, it's cool.
People love clickbait.
No, it's cool, Fernando, because it's a good topic of conversation because everybody has their take on it. Like Courtney, she says, Trout's one of my favorite players. I don't want to see him go. There's so many fans, kids, young and old, that just love Trout and they want best case scenario. But some fans will be the other way. They'll be like, well, it's who's on the front of the jersey, not who's on the back. You want to look what's good for the organization. So that's why you bringing up the topic is actually good. It's healthy because it gets us all to give our takes.
Yeah, and the thing that's frustrating is we keep having these conversations about, well, if we're healthy, if we're healthy. I don't know why I stumbled on my words. But we've had these conversations for decades. Oh, well, next year we're going to be healthy. Well, next year we're going to be healthy. It's just, et cetera. It's, the definition of insanity at this point. Mm-hmm. Something has to give. It starts with the ownership. I don't know what needs to change, but something needs to. I don't know if it's Arte Moreno sell the team. And that's another thing. We sit here and we keep talking about Arte Moreno needs to sell the team. It's not going to happen either. So we need to find other ways to maybe hold Arte a little more accountable. Hell, maybe it's yelling at him at spring training. I don't know what it is, but he needs to be held accountable. Everybody in the world is held accountable by somebody. So why can't we do that with our franchise, the franchise we support? Another thing is I hate sometimes that the Angels do own AM 830 because there's some form of censorship involved. The Padres don't own their network. They can say a little bit more. I've heard them get a little more dicey when I lived in San Diego. Here you got Roger Lodge behind you and freaking everyone else the Angels are going to be just fine. We're going to win. We're going to win. It's like Raleigh Chris with the radio network.
Yeah. And look at his lips right there in the picture. They're already puckered to Artie's ass. So, I mean,
there you go.
They're ready to go. No, I get you.
It's the same thing. In the words of Roman Reigns, it's like missionary every night. It's the same thing every single day.
Wow. Yeah, you don't want to go missionary every night. Let's just put it up front. Mix it up a little.
It's the same dull thing every single year, and we're just hoping that at some point we get a little bit of spice.
So you're saying as Angels fans, we're just sitting on our backs like, all right, let's do this. Let's get it over with.
I mean, I think that might be the perfect analogy.
Yeah, right.
As
Right now,
Angels fans, we are just sitting here like, come get me, death, or whatever.
no, right now we're like, are you done yet? 'Cause-
There it is. The season. Is it done yet?
Hurry up
Wake
and
me up
finish,
when
Artie.
September ends.
Finish, Artie. I'm done.
Just put me out of my misery, Artie. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I think Courtney's dead.
Yeah, she's dying right now.
So that's kind of my rant, and I hope you guys enjoyed it at
That's
home.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of, he talks about censorship, and then we do a sex analogy.
Hey, I'm not being censored. We own our network.
There you go. There you
This is
go.
great.
Shout out to our sponsors.
They're gonna listen to this and be like, you know what? No, never mind.
So why are we
Yeah,
sponsoring
right.
you guys again?
Thank you, Raise Energy. Use code Halos at checkout.
There you go.
Also, Redbubble. Check out the Redbubble.
Wow, how do we transition out of that one?
Oh, don't worry. We still have to talk. We still have to talk about the Indians series. Speaking of laying down in your back, waiting for whatever's coming.
Talk about like what do we genuinely have to talk about? Well, I'm honest, I can't even say anything because I didn't watch any of the games, and I watched half of today just because I was on my little road trip. So
Mhm.
You were in Oakland.
Yes.
I know I was in Oakland. I'm sorry. I traded sides. I traded sides for a day. I'm sorry. It was
Or,
fun.
yeah, you know what? I was going to ask you. Okay, so you said that the Coliseum isn't that bad. So I'm going to give you like a minute and a half to talk about why the Coliseum isn't that bad. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, first, I think I picked a good series to go to. It was the Bay series. So I feel like just that environment alone really kind of helped because it was pretty much a full stadium. And there was a lot of chirping. I mean, it was basically comparable to the Freeway series, minus all the fights, which is really good. So that's why I genuinely liked it. Like I didn't feel out of place, but mind you, I did have on an Oakland jersey, so I'm sorry. Just wanted I'm sorry. I hate how Randy said I looked like John Deere.
You do. You look like
I
a
missed
John
that
Deere
one.
tractor.
I missed that one.
Buddy.
Jeez.
But so that was my first time and probably my only time being at the Coliseum. So that's why I wanted to just mark it off my list because we don't know if Oakland, or I haven't really been keeping up with it, but we don't know if Oakland's going to be in Oakland anymore. So I at least wanted the chance to see the Coliseum before they head to more than likely Vegas, or we just don't know what's going to happen. So that was my reasoning for going, but I really did enjoy it.
Did you eat at the stadium?
I had one hot dog. Just to say that I had one, just to keep it safe, keep it simple. But they had nachos, just like we do, helmet full of nachos. What else did I see people walking around? I mean, that was really it. Yeah.
I got food poisoning from their hot dog on opening day in 2017.
Oh, well,
it was bad. It was bad. I was fine. Like the third inning hit, and it felt like I got hit in the gut by like Floyd Mayweather.
oh my God.
And I sat there with literally my face was pale. And my godfather's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't feel good." I felt so bad.
No. Yeah, no. I just had my one hot dog. I felt fine. And then I just had
That's
my little soda with my little memorial cup, not memorial cup, but
Souvenir cup?
souvenir cup. There we go. Got my little souvenir cup, got some merchandise, and then I just left. And I was like, okay. And I'm mad because I left early.
Whoa. Merchandise. What merchandise did you buy? Oh, the pins?
The pins.
Okay.
Don't
All right.
tell
Okay.
me. You guys know this. Me and my mom collect pins, so I had to get pins. So
I thought you're gonna tell us that you bought some bullshit. Like, oh, I bought their little elephant stuffed doll.
no, why would I buy into bullshit when when the Angels are bullshit? I've already been doing that my entire life. So
Dang.
But yeah, no, just the pins. We kept it that, kept it simple. I left early. I left in the 8th, and Oakland was actually up 5-4. And then that's when the Giants actually came back in the top of the 9th, and they ended up winning it 6-4. So I'm kind of mad I left early, but I wanted to get back home. So
Yeah, I think you missed that 3-run homer or something, right? Someone hit a 3-run homer.
2-run homer, yes.
Okay.
But that's okay. But it's okay. I got to see it, so I was happy.
Yeah, the problem with that
Okay.
stadium is like they don't have like Angel Stadium, like outside restaurants inside or vendors. It's just basic, baseball food that you can get at AAA ballparks, and then there's nothing around the stadium. It's deader than a doornail.
No,
Yeah.
there's nothing around that stadium. They do have like a little, I guess, like pavilion area that was a little bit outside. There was 3 food trucks. I could count them. There was 3 food trucks. I didn't mind to like go over there because there was a lot of people. So I'm just assuming it was good, or maybe they were just tired of normal ballpark food.
Probably it.
Yeah, that's the area in between where the Warriors used to play, right? And like kind of like right behind like the executive offices for the Athletics. They just that little plaza area. Okay, yeah, I was there when that was brand new.
Yeah.
I was also there the day they opened the treehouse.
Okay, yeah, I just kind of walked through all that stuff. It was really packed, honestly. And again, I think that was just because it was the Bay Series game. But I mean, yeah, I don't want to, of course, I don't want to say it's my favorite stadium. It's never going to be my favorite stadium, but I do like the chance that I was able to go.
That's cool. It's a different experience.
Definitely. And I don't care. You guys cannot come for me because I've been to Tampa Bay Rays, and that is the worst stadium. That is the worst stadium. I don't care. Put it down, write it down. I don't care what you do.
I've been to Tropicana Field. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can say it's worse than Oakland.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you
where else.
I'll tell you one stadium that I didn't like that I haven't been to Tampa, but I've been to Oakland. I think the worst baseball stadium I went to when I was a kid was the Kingdome. For football, it was great. For baseball, it was terrible. It was a terrible venue. I didn't like that at all.
Never went there.
Nah, you're not missing nothing.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, I'm going to Wrigley. I said when this is being released on Monday, I'll be at Wrigley. So yeah. I'm going to post a poll if I should vlog it or not. We'll see what the listeners think. I would imagine most listeners be like, sure, yeah, vlog it.
You should.
You should. I think you should. That'll be fun.
Now, as far as getting to the series, like Courtney alluded to, the Indians, so after coming off an impressive, if you want to call it that, series and come back against Detroit, they won't get the sweep, get you within 7.5 games to where, like Fernando said, there's some fans that are like, oh, we have a chance. They played no baseball whatsoever, at least inside the batter's box. They get outscored 17-2 by the worst hitting team in the American League. And also, they've been no hit 3 times. Was it 2 or 3 times?
I think it's 3. 2. Okay.
No, it's 2 times. Yeah. So 2 times they've been no hit already. And I think 1 hit like 2 or 3 times. So this team sucks hitting. They have really no names on that lineup, and they made us look terrible. And their pitching, yes, is good, but it shouldn't be that good. And they've lost some starters that aren't even in there. So imagine if they had the Beebs and a couple other pitchers that are out. I mean, dude,
man,
we would be no hit all 3 games. So what do you guys? I mean, again, we alluded to what happened on the Little League game, but I mean, come on. I mean, you lose 9-1 and 5-1. They didn't show up, and still you have idiots like I alluded to on the post game show on other pages saying that our pitching sucks. Dude, I mean, they could have given up 2 runs and still lost each game. So.
Okay. She's waiting for me?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Okay. The thing that makes me the most upset about this series, we've been talking for a while now about, wow, our starting pitching has been so good. Oh, next year we don't have to maybe worry about a starting pitching. Maybe we just need 1 pitcher. Oh, and then they just decide to shit the bed. It just the last week has been really, really bad. Inconsistent hitting, to say the least. And then the starting pitching has been flat. Very, very flat. The starting pitchers have just gone out there, just going through the motions. I mean, Jaime Barria, 2 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. That's absolutely crazy and absolutely terrible. Guerra turned back into Guerra. You're right, when he was, maybe turning a little bit of a corner, or at least starting to look at the corner. It was just a really bad game. I mean, what, 4 hits that first game? Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
Otani got a hit. That's always good. Fletcher got a hit. When doesn't he really? And then you got Kurt Suzuki got 2 hits. Oh my gosh, let's re-sign him. I don't know, man. I'm starting to get snarky. I'm starting to get angry. It's just, we finally hit that point of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much said it. It's just at this point, can we even be upset anymore? Like, what? Like, how much more do we even try to believe or have hope in this team? I mean, of course, in the back of our head, we always try to, just for that small sliver.
Hashtag we believe.
Yeah, hashtag we believe. For that small sliver of optimism that maybe most people may still have.
Yeah.
But I mean, even at this point, like, even when I was like driving and I was doing my little trip, like, I didn't even bother to check my phone for our games just because I was like, I don't know. Like, I kind of knew this was gonna happen. Like, I know me and Fernando predicted 2 out of 3 when we did the pre-series for this. Todd went
sweet baby.
Yep. Todd went for the sweep, wrong team.
Yeah. Hey, you got it.
You got it. You're finally right on one, kind of. We'll give you 0.5 credit for that. But like, even then, like, the alerts that I was getting, I think it was probably that first day, like on Friday, and it was just like, oh, 7-1. And I was like, what? I was like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I'm fine. We don't need any more of this. Because it's just like, what I could just tell from what the alerts were. I was just like, they're probably not hitting, probably not situational hitting, probably not productive outs. Like, I probably don't even have to go back and look at the highlights. I was just like, no, it's probably the same thing. I was like, everybody's trying to pull, they swing into the shift. Probably no bunt attempts were made. Just nothing. So that's why I don't even bother. Even if I do miss a game just because I'm working or something, I'm just like, it's fine. I think I know what already happened. And it's just to that point where I'm just like, we're gonna sit here, every 3 or 4 days on the podcast, and we're gonna say the same thing, that we're not productive, bats are cold, everything like that. So it's just like, all right, I'm done. I'm done.
No, I get you, because like I'm going to start timing the innings, because when I was out and I was working, it seemed like every time I checked my phone, Cleveland was up to bat. And then when I saw the Angels were up to bat, it was like boom, boom, boom. And it was like there was like no pitches taken. Like Courtney said, everything that she said took place in those innings. There's no rallies. There's no nothing. It seemed like just Cleveland was up again. Cleveland was up again. They were up again. You're not showcasing anything. You're not trying any rallies. And I think for me, the final 36 games of the season is: are we going to truly go for, let's cut bait with the crap that we have on the roster, youth movement? Let's see what they could do. And then I also want to focus in on what's wrong and hopefully getting that right and corrected going into next season. Because as it stands right here, I'm not completely over it. Like, I'm still mad. And I think if I wasn't mad and I was complacent, I probably would be telling Fernando, hey, you know what, dude? Like, if you guys can run the rest of this shit for the rest of the year, I just don't want to be a part of it. But the fan in me is saying, hey, you know what? Like, I want to stick this out. I want to see these things happen. I want to see these changes made. I hope that they are, because as fans, we can see the glaring problems. It's just whether this idiot behind me will do anything about it.
Well said.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? Randy who said, like, oh, well, play like it's 1985. There must have been some regurgitated bullshit from like Tampa Bay. Those were his exact words. And the more and more, we play, the more and more I realize, you know what? Maybe he was right. Maybe this is some regurgitated. It's not working. If this is what 1985 was like, I'm so glad I wasn't alive. Because it's just, what was 1985? From what I've learned about old school baseball, it involved, smart hitting. It involved bunting. It involved stealing bases. And for a little while, even if it was like a week, we got a little sliver of that when the young guys came up. And all of a sudden, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that Trout, Fowler, and maybe Rendon are traveling with the team again. So now they just kind of started sprinkling their injuries and lack of faith. I don't know what's going on, but all of a sudden the young guys look flat.
Yeah.
You know, they were originally, you know, great. They were bringing the energy, and even they look like they're kind of over it. So what is it? What needs? You know, what is it that's going to change?
I agree. Let me look at this real quick before. Okay, so according to him, you said he wants us to play 1985 baseball, right? So I don't know what team he's referring to, because if he's referring to the 1985 Angels, they were 90-72. They barely missed the playoffs. Second place. They had a lineup of Bob Boone, Rod Carew, Bobby Grich, Dick Schofield, Doug DeSenses, Brian Downing, Gary Pettis, Reggie Jackson, and Rupert Jones, whoever the hell that is. And then you had a pitching staff that had four guys in double digits: Mike Witt, Ron Romanek, Kurt McCaskill, and Jim Slayton. So I don't think that's the Angels this year. Call me incorrect.
Yeah, they made the playoffs the following year, right?
Yeah, 86 was when they got beat in the championship series.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, what's he going to say next year? Try not to suck. That's what he said with the Cubs, I think, the year they won the World Series. So is that going to be the slogan next year? Hell, is he going to have it next year? I think he will. I don't think they'll fire him in his third year. But, you know, if he gets called back after his contract expires after that, that's a different situation. But as of right now, the team looks flat. The team looks over it, you know, just like the fans. So, you know, all we can do, we just, you know, keep on calling people out, you know, not being afraid to call out the team, call out the guy behind you, and just say, hey, man, like, you have to stop interjecting. I feel like the Angels would be in a much better position if Arte Moreno just put his hands up and said, you know what, Perry, do your thing, man. I'll check up on you in a year.
I agree. What do you think, Courtney?
I mean, yeah, just kind of let Perry do his thing. You know, obviously there's a reason why we wanted to bring him over. But I think Artie just needs to stay out of it at this point, you know, just kind of let us work, you know, let people do their job, you know, and if there's anything that we need to change out, it's this damn training staff though. Oh yeah.
No fight, no argument.
Yeah. So, but I mean, other than that, just let Perry do his job, make some moves, you know, and try to let Madden piece something together. You know, everybody always calls him the madman, you know, he thinks outside the box, 1985 baseball, you know, whatever slogans you guys, I know, right?
Rah, rah.
Yeah, whatever slogans you guys want to throw out there. But, you know, let's see if we can try to piece together something, maybe not right now, but, you know, like next year. Let's see what we can actually do if you just sit there and let people do the job that they're meant to do.
I agree, because again, going back to the 85 standings, I think we resemble the Oakland A's, 77-85, 14 games out of first place. That seems about where I think the Angels are going to fall this year. Yeah, I think so. So maybe he wasn't referring to the Angels of 85. He was referring to the A's of 85.
Right.
But Fernando brought it up. I mean, if this team continues this same bullshit, Fernando, for 36 games, where they don't look where they look uninspired, let's put your ownership hat on without being this dick behind me, and being Fernando. Do you consider firing Madden?
You know, I'm not going to look at Joe Madden as much as I would look at just the overall situation. I mean, you know, it's frustrating because I think here, and you know, me being me, I would think to myself like, oh, well, maybe it's me. At some point, here, I'm different than most people. I always blame myself for everything, whether it's my fault or not. And you of all people know that, Todd. I blame myself for everything, not because I beat myself up, because I've learned at an early age, I am nobody on this planet to point a finger at you, Courtney, or anybody else. You do not have the right as a human to blame anybody else. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the owner. I don't care if you're just below Jesus. You don't have the right to point your finger at anyone, but you can always point it at yourself. At some point, the guy behind you has to start pointing the finger at himself and think, you know, hey, what am I doing wrong? Not what is he doing wrong or what is the other guy doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And, you know, you'd think that at this point he would realize that it's him interjecting. Let your guys do their job. Honestly, hot take, I don't think Billy Epler was a bad general manager. Actually, I feel like if the guy behind you would have let Billy do his job, the Angels might have actually been decent. Because if there was one good thing that Billy was good at, was digging in the trash can, aka the waiver wire, and finding decent baseball players. It was just, the right move wasn't made at the trade deadline. Maybe he didn't have the money because Artie never wanted to maybe just go a little bit past the luxury tax, just a little bit. I'm not asking Arte Moreno for 20, 30, 40, $100 million over the luxury tax. I'm just asking him to get a little closer or just go a little bit more, because there's situations during Billy Epler's tenure where if he would have just gone like 2 or 3 over, we'd be having different conversations right now.
Great. What's your take on that, Courtney?
Definitely. I mean, I don't think Billy was that bad of a general manager. Like, I honestly think, again, like if Artie just probably was able to cooperate with him a little bit more, work with him instead of kind of just throwing him under the bus, or just not really helping. I really think, again, we would be having a different conversation. We could have had different moves. We could have gotten or traded away different players. But yeah, if there's one thing that Billy was good at, he dug into that waiver basket, and there were a lot of kind of good outcomes of some of those waivers. So I think, yeah, I mean, I honestly think that at some point, Artie just needs to really look at himself and just be like, you know what am I willing to do for this team?
Mm-hmm.
What am I not willing to do for this team? Maybe it's time for me to step away. What can I do? But really, he kind of just needs to evaluate himself at this point. Because I would like to think that everybody up there in those big old fancy offices, they're trying. They're trying to do their job. They're trying to figure out what's best for this franchise. And if no cooperation is coming from that head honcho himself, then what more can we do?
Do you think Madden gets one more year?
I think Madden gets one more year.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, go ahead.
He has the year under contract. I mean, do you guys really see a situation where they fire 2 managers consecutively that didn't get to finish their contracts?
I do. If this team, like, I would, being who I am, if the team is just uninspired, bro, like, I can see if they're trying, but like, it doesn't look like they're trying. Like there's no improvement, injuries or not. I mean, I'm a little more hard nosed. I get where you're coming from, Fernando. So I'm not shitting on your take. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, maybe some things need to get shaken up. Just like Courtney said, training staff needs to go. Maybe Madden's message about 85 baseball and everything else, they're just not buying in, dude. And until we get someone in here that's going to be like, hey, I could be completely wrong too. Madden could have a whole new outline next year, and this team just comes together and they all like bond and they buy into whatever he's selling. But as far as if you're asking me if they're buying in right now, from the outside looking in, I don't see it, to be honest. I just don't see it.
So then who do you think manager wise? So, potentially, if Madden does get one more year, or maybe he doesn't, but who do we get to replace him then? Who do we get to shake things up?
That's why I don't get paid the big money. I wouldn't know who to bring in. I mean, finding a manager, the right manager for a team, is very hard to do. So I don't envy Perry or whoever has had to do that. I don't know if we were going to get a retread, I'd want someone that's powerful that people would look up to. And if we're going to get a young, starting manager, I'd want that person to be someone that's going to earn respect by gaining the respect of the players. Like, because you get a veteran, he's going to earn it right away or he's going to have the respect right away, you would think, because of his, like if Lou Piniella was younger and he came in here, he'd demand respect and get it. But if you bring in a Brad Osmus, he's got to fight for that locker room. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to work his ways. And I don't think he got a fair share or a fair shot at it. So I see where Fernando's coming from. I wouldn't want to be in that position to have to call it for a manager. I really don't know who's out there that would fit the right mold. I mean,
I don't think the manager's the problem. I think it's everything else around him.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look at his staff. I mean, his hitting coaches have been bad.
Yep.
Matt Wise, obviously wasn't the original pitching coach. It was Dick Pick Mick. But, I mean, hey,
That's bad.
But what I'm saying is, it might be time to tear down that staff. He's got 1 year left to prove it, because if the Angels are not competitive next year, there is no way you bring Joe Madden back.
True. So you're saying just like gut the hitting coaches, pitching, bring in a whole new, because if we're not going to fire the manager, like that's usually what happens in football. They fire the assistant coaches, the head coach keeps his job, and then they just like bring in their own staff. So you're saying something like that, maybe?
Well, this is Joe Madden's staff, isn't it? Because he's been here for 2 years. I'm pretty sure he brought his own guys on.
He brought over some staff. I don't know who, but I know he did bring over some people with him.
Yeah, it's like half and half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be, the first thing to get done. I mean, you don't have to worry about Perry getting fired, so that's good. But I think the hardest part is trying to realize what Perry had in mind this year. Was it, hey, we're just going to put a bunch of stopgap guys in there and hope it pans out, and if it doesn't, we got the young guys to call up and see what we've got there before we make moves this offseason? And I honestly think that's what the original plan was. And some of those guys have panned out, like Raisel Iglesias. And I don't know who else has panned out besides Raisel Iglesias that immediately comes to mind. Yeah. Because besides that, sure, a couple of young guys, but no guy that Perry has brought in this year on a 1 year deal has done well outside of him.
You mean Quintana didn't do well to keep our team in?
He did enough that game.
Yes, he sure did. Great guy.
Yeah, and Raleigh Chris came through. So
yeah, he did. I had another question.
Brought you guys a win.
It got us a sweep.
Yeah, you brought it again. I'm just saying.
Another thing that is in the news involving this guy behind me is the fact that it looks like they're going to go to court. There is no payout. He does not want to pay out the family of Tyler Skaggs or the wife. He's going to fight it. And basically the guy who went to jail for selling the drugs to Tyler Skaggs is going to reveal the names. And it's going to be public record of 5 other players that were involved, and also the names in the organization that knew about everything that was going on. This is going to get messy really fast. And unfortunately, this could spew on our free agency chances of landing certain players. Also give this team another black eye. So what do you guys think? I mean, it's going to be a shit show maybe?
WTF. I mean, that's basically it. It's gonna be a lot. I mean, it's even worse because obviously a death has came from it, R.I.P. Skaggs. This isn't like the Astros cheating, this isn't like the sticky stuff spider tack. This isn't anything to do with that. This is literally, somebody's life that is now gone. And potentially 5 to 6 other players that maybe kind of just didn't know the consequences, or maybe they did and just didn't care. But yes, it's going to be very detrimental to us. Because I mean, now people are going to look at us, if they weren't already, they are going to look at us and be like, damn, they just really don't give a fuck about their franchise. Like they don't care about their players. And then now when something like this happens, they won't even take care of the family after. No, and if this is the case, if people in the organization did know and didn't say anything, and Artie or whoever still isn't willing to pay that out, it just looks bad all the way around. It looks like we were negligent while it was happening, while he was alive. And then now it's like, we're not even just respecting the family. Like, you know what? Yeah, he was a member of our franchise, and a good member at that. It's not like Skaggs was just one of our shitty pitching staff, like he was kind of our guy a little bit there. So, and we're not even willing to just help the family. Like that's awful. It's awful all the way around. So yes, whatever the outcome is, it's not going to be a positive. I don't see any type of positive in this outcome whatsoever.
Well said. What you got, Fernando?
I think it's Arte Moreno showing his true colors yet again. And I guess the only positive that could potentially come out of this is, Maybe it'll start getting to the point where MLB's like, Rob Manfred and the other owners are like, you know what, man, this is a really, really bad look for all of us. This is not the Angels anymore. This is Major League Baseball. He's not attacking the Angels. He's not attacking that city, that county. He's attacking all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Artie should have done whatever he could have to stop this from going to court, because this is going to get very ugly. Artie just continues to prove that not only is he a bad person, he's probably like the scum of the earth. He's a bad human being. He's a bad owner. He doesn't care about his players. He sure as hell doesn't care about his fans. He's using all of this for money, and it's becoming more and more apparent. I mean, it was a bad enough look. Okay, let me start off by saying this disclaimer. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you support. Arte Moreno showed his true colors last year when he refused to pay the staff, when he refused to pay minor leaguers, but he decided to donate millions and millions and millions of dollars to Donald Trump. I don't give a damn that you support Donald Trump. Cool, man. You support whoever you want. It's a free country. But what you should not do is donate millions of dollars to anybody. I don't care if it's a president. I don't care if it's a corporation. If you're not going to take care of your own employees, you should not be giving away money for free to, somebody who's going to get money, in other ways. I mean, Donald Trump's going to get his donations the same way any candidate's going to get their donation. But, to not even take care of your own, especially in this situation, there's a wife who's a widow now because of your negligence. That's what I have to say about that. I mean, as soon as that whole thing happened, I was pissed as it was. Mm-hmm. Like I told you, I don't care who he donated money to. Is the fact that he let, members of his organization, he left staff members, ushers go hungry when they were, I don't know if they went hungry, but you get what I'm saying. They were without a job during a pandemic. Other organizations were paying their ushers, their food, their concession people, because those people were expecting to have a job. Other teams were doing it willingly. Hell, there was other other athletes who were stepping up to do that. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yet Artie's like, no, we're good. I'm not going to do that. Actually, I'm going to fire most of the staff, and I'm going to donate my money anyway. How about you take care of your own people before you worry about helping anybody else who you don't need to help? If we're having a situation where he donates, millions of dollars to whoever, and then he takes care of his staff members, cool, no problem. I'm not even blinking an eye. Whatever, bro, it's your money. But it's a bad look. It's, it's just becoming more and more apparent how selfish he is.
Man, those are two really good takes. That's off the top of their heads. So congrats, man. Those are really good takes, both of you guys, on that situation, because that's it's well said. I mean, I don't have too much to add on it because it's just another one of these things as an organization, Angels organization. We've talked about it before. A lot of people were selfish back in the day, thinking that Disney was going to ruin this team. They may have ruined the jerseys for a little while with the pinstripes, but yeah, well, see, you liked them, but there was a lot of fans that hate them. But yep. It's just the fact that if we move forward from that, I mean, what's the worst Disney ever did? You know what I mean? Like
make a movie.
Yeah, made a movie about it, so that's about it. The movie and the pinstripes. Other than that, I mean, it pales to comparison. We weren't losing ball players to death, within the organization. We didn't have, situations that are going on now with the minor league systems, like everything you guys brought out. And like she brought out, a good way to get the public back in your favor would have been to say, hey, you know what, Mrs. Skaggs, your daughter-in-law, let's write them out a nice check. Let's take care of, put a college fund out for his kid. So he has a kid, right? I think he had. I don't
think so.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, I thought he had a kid. Anyway,
I don't think so.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, like do something, for the Skaggs family. Donate to the Skaggs Foundation every year. Do stuff like that. And I would be, because I would feel blood guilty, and apparently he doesn't. And I think that's
cold-blooded.
Yeah, I think you called it correct. He's very selfish, and it's just a shame that for the LA area, I know Anaheim doesn't like to be considered LA, but before Ballmer and the Clippers, it was the owner before. I'm blanking on his name, but he was a terrible owner here in LA.
Dan Gilbert?
No, not Dan Gilbert. The Clippers owner. It wasn't Gilbert. Yeah, you could probably find that. You could probably do a top plays and Google it real quick. because they don't know any answers. But but basically, like he was a scum of the earth too. I mean, poorly
Donald
run.
Sterling.
Donald Sterling. There you go.
Is that the one that was racist?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He did a lot of racist.
Yes.
He said a lot of racist things over the years. Even like a sex scandal or what's it called?
A whole other like family kind of, or a wife, I think, girlfriend, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And then so he was terrible to the players and all this other stuff. And you would think that, you know, I mean, you don't wish something upon that guy, but that's what it took to get rid of Sterling. We thought we had a good ownership crew in SoCal, but no, he's regressed so bad.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I know this isn't necessarily Artie's fault or anybody's fault, but it's not the first time that we've had a pitcher death. You know, because we also had Nick Aidenhart a few years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that was more of an unfortunate freak accident, though.
That one's, of course, that one's more of an unfortunate freak accident. You know, no, obviously nobody wanted that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think we've done anything for that family either. You know, just out of the kindness of our heart or anything, or out of the kindness of Artie's heart. You know, because he was just a kid at that, you know. So that, you know, all those things put together, it really does just have a bad look on Artie and a bad look on us, because now players and their families are going to look at us and be like, you know what, hey, if something happens to you, you know, because baseball doesn't go on forever, you know, as much as we want it to, you know, injuries happen or unfortunate deaths happen, but if something happens to you, what happens to us, you know?
Mhm.
And as a family, as a female, you know, I would want to discuss that with my significant other, like, you know, hey, are we going into a good organization to where you and us are all going to be taken care of? And I feel like people are going to look at us now and be like, no, they do not. Let's go over here. Like, you know,
Yeah.
because my heart definitely goes out to Skaggs' wife and his family, because this isn't going to be good.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, man. I don't know how he sleeps at night.
Yeah, and talking about what she was saying right now, like as far as the players are concerned, and not them getting the compensation, you know, if something were to happen to them, free agents are going to come here too and say, you know what, the training staff's poor. You know, they're just like us. They go on the internet, they know what's going on, because it's their profession, it's their, you know, they have to keep up to date on what's going on, and they know some of their friends that are playing with the Angels or whatever. They've seen the injuries, and it's year after year, so they're not, you know, they're not ignorant to it. So yeah, like Courtney was saying, they're probably not only discussing about what if something happens to me, I get an injury, am I going to be taken care of, but what happens, you know, if I go there and my career is over because of malpractice, or they're not doing the right things to keep me healthy. So all that has to be considered, and if they're thinking about that, we're not going to get the best players here. We're going to get guys who are trying to resurrect their careers.
Julio Teheran?
Yeah, guys that are, you know, that couldn't get a job anywhere else, that are just like, hey, man, you know, the Angels are offering this much, I'm going to take it, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the water. So you guys got anything else on this one? I'm kind of out of topics.
Trash.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we didn't really talk too much about the series here, but I mean, you know, what is there to talk about? I mean, we found other stuff to talk about that I think was way more hard hitting, but I don't know, guys. I'm getting a little drained. I mean, unfortunately, I'm in a situation where I could never leave this team, and I think the guy behind you knows that. But you know, are we burning bridges with this organization? Potentially, but at the end of the day, my job is to go to sleep knowing that we covered this team as straightforward as we possibly can. Not everyone in the organization is ever going to, you know, realize that. But all we can do is, you know, keep dotting our I's, keep crossing our T's, and keep having the conversations that I know our listeners want us to have. And, you know, that's going to be calling Artie out as BS. That's what we need to keep doing. You know, and unfortunately, it's not even about baseball anymore. It's about life. It's about things bigger.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you know, look what's happening down the street from me. You know, this Inland Empire 66ers. You know, those guys can't afford to feed themselves. They can't even afford living. You know, they can't afford basic needs. and that all comes from Mr. Arte Moreno. So, I mean, it just goes to show how far along the chain really is, and how far the negligence is, because there should be no reason why any human being, I don't care if you're playing minor league baseball, I don't even care if you're homeless on the street, but there is really no reason for somebody not to be able to afford three decent, basic, good, healthy meals a day, and go to bed at night, in a warm bed, and be able to have running water. There's no reason for any of that to be happening. Especially, again, I don't care if you're minor league. I don't care who you are. So, that just goes to show how negligent Artie is, and how he doesn't care.
Agreed. I mean, I'm tapped out on him tonight. I think someday we got to run a full on, timeline of what he's done with his team and roll with
Off-season show.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do something like that. Kind of educate the fans if they don't already know. But I got nothing else. If you want to talk about Baltimore, or you just want to roll out the show here.
Well, Baltimore, I do have a question, or maybe not even a question, but I guess a hot take. So we did barely sweep the Orioles, I think, when they came to town last time. Those were struggling games. I think we either won in walk-offs or extra innings for all 3 or 4 of those games that we played with them.
2 walk-offs.
That sounds right.
Yeah, 2 walk-offs. Thank you. So yeah, I think now, because now we go to Baltimore, and now given the current state of our team, I guess, what are our predictions? Maybe just short little predictions if we want to.
Oof.
I'll scale back. I'll say 2 out of 3. 2 lucky ass wins.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine us losing to the Orioles, but hey, right now they have lost 17 straight games. So it'd totally be us that would get swept. So I'm going to hope for 2 out of 3, but I won't lose any sleep if we get swept.
Wow, geez.
God, come on, guys.
Their franchise record is 20 straight losses, which is sad in itself. So
Ew.
they might get there.
Oh no.
I'm
gonna say 2 out of 3. I'm gonna keep it hopeful. 2 out of 3.
Okay.
I think
We're all hopeful.
we win the first 2, and right when they're about to get to 20, we let them get the victory. So
We help them out.
yeah, we help them out.
Yeah.
Isn't Ohtani pitching that Thursday though?
I still think we help them out.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. It's hard to imagine Ohtani losing. But...
Being as respectful as he is, he's like, no, I can't do this. Like,
yeah. I can't put you guys through this. Don't worry, Artie will be there watching from home. Like,
Yep.
his little smile.
His little smile. But terrible.
Yeah, he definitely is the guy who like smiles at the bar like that.
Yeah, shaking his head.
Not creepy at all. Yeah.
Yeah, finger gun.
That's the old quagmire right there, dude. That's a quagmire. Yeah,
it really is.
There you go.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's gonna do it on me.
Yeah.
Yep. That's our show for today. You could find us on any podcast platform. Just type in Halos in the Infield. Also, you can watch us here on YouTube. And we do live shows during the week as far as pregame and postgame. And we got Chase's show with Andrew midweek, which talks about everything going on around the baseball. And we'll probably have an announcement soon, right, Fernando, about some sort of playoff shows and stuff like that. If we're going to get into that as we get closer to October.
Yep. I think we also have a date in mind that we're currently planning for our donation drive. As of right now, assuming there's no kind of hiccups, September 11th is the day we're hoping for. So if you guys want to help, you guys can help by buying our merchandise. All the profits from all of our merchandise right now is going straight to that cause. Or if you don't want the merchandise and you want to help with $1, $5, whatever, you can go on our website. It's on our Instagram. Links on there, halosintheinfield.com. And you can donate money straight from your PayPal, and 100% of that money is going to the cause. Todd's done a great job reaching out to local restaurants who also care about this cause. And we're going to do something nice for these young men to encourage them to have a good off season. send them off with a good meal. And, hopefully next year we're able to do this a couple times and, hey, keep the faith alive because the guy behind you is not doing it.
Exactly. That's what we want to do. I think we should promote that as we go along every day. Like do a little story about promoting on the website or donating. That'd be pretty good for the cause.
Yeah.
Any final words, Courtney? Or
So good night, guys.
all right, we'll see you guys later.